You are about to begin what can be the most important journey of your life. There will be no actual trains, ships, or planes, yet this excursion on which you will discover life's riches will be more vivid and real than any journey you have ever taken, and one you will never forget. Attaining success is not a destination. It is a journey, and you start the journey the moment you determine to be a success. This means that it isn't necessary to reach the pinnacle of success before you begin enjoying it. You gain happiness after taking the first step toward success. This is a little understood fact. You are a success the moment you start on the road to success. Therefore, you do not have to wait until you have money in the bank nor the bills paid before you are a success. You can be a success right now. Since success is a journey, not a destination, this presentation will take the form of a narrative in which the journey you're about to take will be described, the journey you are taking and the journey you have taken. Ben Sweetland, dynamic author of the best-selling book I Will, from which this recording is adapted, suggests that from this moment on, you listen with a selfish ear. By that he means absorb the secrets of health, wealth, and happiness as though they were being revealed to you alone, for they are your personal property the moment you put them to use. Merely knowing that you can do something is not enough. You must determine that you will do it. And there is one other factor which completes the success triangle, a plan to be followed through in carrying out your determination to succeed. The triangle has 3 sides. 1, know that you can be a success. 2, determine that you will be a success. 3, develop a plan of action based on an understanding of the resistance between you and your objective.
Mapping your journey.
Since we have learned that success is not a destination but a journey, and that we are about to embark on such a journey, it will be wise if we begin by mapping our expedition. Let us consider all the things we want out of life: physical benefits, increased possessions, improved personal affairs, or a combination of all of them as objectives. And we will think of these various objectives as stations or stopovers which we'll visit on our journey. Logically, the first step in any journey is deciding where we wish to go. If you're a man, you may have envied other men who, through their success, are able to provide their wives and families with the comforts and luxuries of life. They live in fine homes and they can afford servants. They drive the best automobiles. Both they and their loved ones dress well. There's always plenty of money for travel and for their children's continuing education. If you're a woman, you may have cherished dreams of a successful career, perhaps as a successful writer or designer, or you may have visioned yourself as a brilliant and dramatic actress in the theater, motion pictures, or television. Or possibly you've harbored a secret desire to develop such a radiantly magnetic personality that you can and will attract the type of man who will provide you with the better things of life. Now let's list the objectives we intend to bring into being. For your possessions, you may wish to have a new home, specifically designed and attractively furnished. You may also list a new automobile, a large wardrobe, financial security, and freedom from debt. Your intended physical benefits probably include better health, less or more weight, better memory, ability to master habits, and general peace of mind. As for your personal affairs, you may yearn for the genuine respect of everyone you know, the quality of leadership, and for a prestige job. Keep this list handy and review it several times every day. Read it carefully, not with the feeling that you're wishing for the listed objectives, but that you're actually reviewing a list of blessings that are about to become realities. Following these instructions will mean that perhaps for the first time in your life, you will design your future according to a plan. You will find to your astonishment that you can and will acquire the money you need for the kind of life you've envisioned. Your health will improve. You'll grow more youthful regardless of your present age. The evidence will be in your face as it reflects the beauty of your thoughts. All of the foregoing considerations are part of mapping the journey you're about to begin, a journey into a land of adventure, accomplishment, and above all, happiness.
Preparing to start your journey.
It's time to pack your bags. And remember, what you take with you will have a definite bearing on how much you'll enjoy your journey. Let us imagine some kind of super conveyance which is ready and waiting to transport us from a land of drudgery, disappointment, and a miscellaneous assortment of disconcerting problems. It will take us into a state of fulfillment where we no longer wish, we accomplish. It is a state where a desire does not mean an empty hope, but rather a mental directive indicating that which will add to your happiness and which will be yours as soon as you apply the principles. Can you imagine any more pleasant state of affairs? A moment ago I said it was time to pack your bags. You may logically ask, what kind of bags? Well, as far as material baggage is concerned, you will start your journey with nothing more than the clothing you're wearing right now. But you should bring with you many things of far greater importance than wearing apparel. The proper mental attributes are definitely necessary on this journey. The first of these is an I can spirit. There's no rhyme nor reason in trying to do anything unless you know you can do it. So I can is the first personal characteristic to be packed into your traveling luggage. You may say, suppose I don't have that particular characteristic. Does that mean I can't go along on a journey? Of course not. Acquiring an I can personality is far easier than you think. Positive thinking is all you need to realize that you can do almost anything you really want to do. A shortcut to that kind of thinking is explained in detail on a popular recording just like this one. It's titled, I Can, by Ben Sweetland. The second characteristic you must definitely carry with you is an I will determination. The most essential elements in building an I will consciousness are these. First, be happy. Second, have an incentive. Third, know the resistance you must overcome. Fourth, have a plan of action. Fifth, overcome procrastination. Sixth, be ready to start and start when ready. 7, make continued progress. Think about these elements for a moment, and you'll realize how important they are to you and your progress. Before we start, it may help to visualize your journey's objectives if you give them tangible representation. Here's one way to do it. Get yourself a good-sized scrapbook, and if you're handy at lettering, print these letters on the book's cover. MJITLOAAH. It won't mean much to anyone else, but you'll know that MJITLOAAH is the title of your projected trip, and that it means my journey into the land of abundance and happiness. Then make the scrapbook an exciting picture story of the objectives about to be yours. Paste in pictures of the new home you want to own, the new car that will be yours, new clothes, and all the other evidences of the success that you will achieve. It's a good idea to keep that scrapbook readily available for repeated inspection as you travel. A multimillionaire was once asked about his greatest thrill in achieving success. Was it when you acquired your first million? Queried the interviewer. No, the rich man replied, it was not when I had money. The biggest thrill was when I began to make money. Our knowledge that success is not a destination but a journey adds a new significance to that wealthy man's answer. Right now, as you start on your journey to success and happiness, you will receive your initiation into a new way of life. With it, you will virtually possess a magic wand that will assure fulfillment of your every desire. The benefits you will gain from listening to this recording will accrue in direct proportion to the degree in which you understandingly accept the thought expressed in the foregoing statement. As you begin to move forward on your journey, you are naturally happy in the thought that you have left all unpleasant memories behind. Doubts, fears, self-pity, and thoughts of limitation have been discarded and denied. Conversely, memories of your love and friendship for others is going with you. From now on, you will enjoy the privilege of being able to do for them the countless good things you've always wanted to do. In presenting these truths, Ben Sweetland is not suggesting that you do anything he has not personally experienced. Prior to reaching the age of 50, Ben Sweetland and his wife lived in quite humble circumstances. One day, while contemplating the marked difference between success and failure, it dawned upon him that the principal difference is that one person thinks in terms of "I can," while the other one is influenced by the negative thought, "I can't." You are a success right now. You don't have to wait until there's money in the bank and your bills are paid before you're a success. You are a success the moment you acquire a success attitude. Armed with that realization, you can achieve almost anything you desire. As you begin to move forward on this most meaningful journey of your life, fill your mind with thoughts of success. See yourself as a success. Success, as you know, means the achievement of anything of value to you. You can become a successful singer, musician, painter, writer, lawyer, doctor, architect, or achieve success in any other field you choose, as long as you know within yourself that you will succeed.
Happiness.
Although every station you visit on this journey will be a rich and rewarding experience, none of them will exceed in importance the one you're now reaching. It's called happiness. It is possible to achieve a reasonable degree of success in life without being happy. Psychologists have determined a number of reasons for such a contradiction. However, success without happiness is not the life for which we are striving. It is not possible to overemphasize the importance of developing a happy frame of mind. When anyone is unhappy, he approaches his work without spirit. Every task seems to be drudgery. Time passes slowly, and every job he does is not done as well as it might be. In seeking self-improvement, do so with a happy mind. A certain man attempting to find success and happiness complained that he had read every one of the recognized self-help books and had failed to get anything worthwhile from any of them. When he was asked whether he had read the books in a happy frame of mind, he replied, "How can I feel happy when I have so many unsolved problems?" Questioned further as to whether such gloomy thoughts helped solve his problems, he admitted frankly that they didn't. A knowledgeable friend gave him a copy of Ben Sweetland's book, "I Can," and told him to read it with happiness in anticipation of the good he would realize from this source. The man followed his friend's suggestion. Now, several years later, he heads a prosperous business and his future is secure. It's a psychological fact. Happiness helps you to accept the good. Gloom causes you to reject it. Unhappiness has many different causes. Through a greater understanding of these sources, we can oftentimes avoid the unhappy results. Some of the principal causes are a guilty conscience, self-pity, envy, selfishness, timidity, worry, or lack of religious convictions. If a guilty conscience is causing your unhappiness, do one of two things. If at all possible, correct the condition which causes you to feel guilty. If that isn't possible, forgive yourself for the thoughtless mistake you have made and profit from the experience. Most self-pity is a hangover from childhood. When we were young, an overabundance of sympathy was showered on us in every physical or emotional crisis. Now, as adults, we have fewer relatives or friends to extend sympathy. Consequently, we do the next best thing and feel sorry for ourselves. The best antidote for self-pity is to count your blessings. Envy is another major enemy of happiness. But if you've been nurturing envy in your heart, you will lose it on this journey. Selfishness, just as the term implies, means inordinate concern with yourself. You can overcome selfishness by giving. It is a fundamental law of nature that the more you give, the more you get. Therefore, the only way to gain happiness is to give happiness. Worry is a mental picture or projection of something you do not want. On our journey, concentrate on the things you do want. Worry can't exist when you think positively. And finally, remember this: a sincere religious conviction will supply the greatest happiness and peace of mind you will ever know.
Enthusiasm.
Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm." The essential truth of this statement is reflected in the successful career of every man and woman who ever lived. Whenever you approach any project or task as a job, you do so with a feeling of necessity. You may do the work well enough, but the time will drag. If you accept that same assignment with a happy frame of mind, the work will seem easier and time will pass more quickly. However, when you tackle a job with enthusiasm, put your entire spirit into it, you not only do the work better than you've ever done it before, but time, instead of dragging, literally flies by. Enthusiasm is the catalyst which accelerates reaction toward a specific objective. Enthusiasm not only prompts memory, it employs reason and shapes both of them for action. It also develops motive power and provides guidance. In short, enthusiasm, sincerely, properly developed, is one of the most potent forces you possess. It can elevate you in rank, dignity, power, wealth, and character. How do you generate enthusiasm? The first requirement is an incentive. Without an incentive, there would be little desire or reason for enthusiasm. Your incentive may be the love and trust of your family, or possibly the fulfillment of your own personal ambitions. In order to be effective, enthusiasm must be matched by determination, for no matter how enthusiastic you may become, it takes determination to follow through to accomplishment. Entirely too many people belong to the going-to clan. They're always going to do something, but they never seem to get started. Firm determination will separate you from that do-nothing group. Actually, the only difference between work and play is your attitude. When you approach a project with enthusiasm, it becomes play, and therefore pleasant to do. If your attitude is one of fear and dread, the project is nothing but hard and unrewarding work. Match your self-generated enthusiasm with determination, and then add one more component: action. And don't worry about overloading your schedule. You'll be amazed at your capacity for accomplishment. William Hazlitt, the British author and critic, defined it this way: the more we do, the more we can do. The busier we are, the more leisure we have. Finally, in establishing your own enthusiasm, don't be afraid of egoism or self-appreciation. Remember, the world will think no more of you than you think of yourself. Learn to like yourself for the thoughts you're thinking and the deeds you're doing.
Happy discontent.
Happy discontent. You may think this an odd name for a stopover station on our journey, but consider it a moment, and I'm sure you'll agree it makes a great deal of good sense. Elbert Hubbard analyzed it a number of years ago in his famous scrapbook. He said, "There are two kinds of discontent in this world: the discontent that works and the discontent that wrings its hands. The first gets what it wants. The second loses what it had. There's no cure for the first but success, and there's no cure at all for the second. Happy discontent is that condition in which you are not satisfied with yourself. You're impatient with things as they are, but at the same time you're happy in the realization that you have within you the power to change yourself and, consequently, to change those things in any way you wish. Philip Brooks described it this way: "Sad will be the day for any man when he becomes contented with the thoughts he is thinking and the deeds he is doing, when there is no forever beating at the doors of his soul some great desire to do something larger which he knows he was meant and made to do." Every invention listed in the U.S. Patent Office is the result of discontent, for every inventor is a man not satisfied with something as it is, so he finds a way to improve it. A great fault with most human beings is that they take themselves for granted. They consciously or subconsciously feel that they were intended to be as they are, and there is nothing to be done about it. The best way to put a man on the road to success is to make him discontented in his present condition or situation. Be sure, however, that he develops a happy, active type of discontent, not the hand-wringing kind. Then counsel that man, it could easily be yourself, to develop a healthy "I can" attitude, and to back it up with what we've learned at the 2 previous stopover stations, happiness and enthusiasm. With this combination, he will certainly blaze new trails of accomplishment. Those wishes in the past will rapidly become realities in the future.
Action.
In one of his typically terse observations, John Locke, the philosopher, said, "The actions of men are the best interpreters of their thoughts." Ben Sweetland, through his wide experience in psychological counseling, recalls a case in point. A patient mentioned a current newspaper article which told of a man who had recently made a fortune with the use of a very simple idea. "You know," the patient remarked, "I thought of that same idea over 10 years ago." "Why didn't you do something about it?" Mr. Sweetland asked. The reply was the common shrug of the shoulders, the "oh, well, that's life" attitude of resigned acceptance. In physics, we learn of 2 different types of energy: potential and kinetic. Potential energy is energy existing in possibility, not in actuality. Kinetic energy is energy in motion. We're all possessed of potential energy, but it doesn't become kinetic until we put it in motion. For example, suppose an ordinary bowling ball is placed on a shelf. If it should accidentally roll off the shelf, it would break almost anything more fragile than itself. Yet, as long as it remains motionless on the shelf, it is harmless. It represents only potential energy. In motion, that same energy becomes kinetic. This principle is also applicable to the man in the newspaper article who made a fortune with a very simple idea. He converted his potential into kinetic energy, which is action. Ben Sweetland's patient, who had the same idea but allowed it to remain dormant, had potential energy too, but he never translated it into kinetic action. The causes for this most common form of inactivity are many and varied. Among them, we find a sense of inadequacy, lack of time, lack of knowledge, lack of experience, and, of course, just simple laziness. Considering the causes separately, a large number of people never tap their potential energy because they feel inadequate. They have no faith in either their ideas or their abilities. This is a psychological block that can be removed easily by gaining an "I can" awareness. Lack of time in reality means lack of time organization. Plan your time carefully, and you'll be amazed how many additional minutes and hours you'll save. Lack of knowledge isn't a reason for inactivity, it's an excuse. In this day and age of well-stocked public libraries, cheap paper-backed editions of texts on every conceivable subject, educational radio and television programs, and recorded home study courses, there's little excuse for not increasing your knowledge. Lack of experience can be corrected by wise use of some of the time you'll save through time organization and applying it to new job possibilities. Sheer laziness is inexcusable under any and all circumstances. The successful future you're building for yourself has no place for indolence.